Awesome. Welcome everybody to another Bite Size Branding live show. Welcome as always on a Friday morning, starting right on the dot at 10 o'clock. I think we should all be proud of ourselves. Yeah, good Friday timing. Awesome. As always, I've got my favorite partner in crime in the brand realm, Thom. Grant, thank you for joining us again.
Bernard, thank you so much. Fantastic to be back here on Bite Size Branding. I look forward to the challenge of chasing the clock and unbundling subject matter that we're most passionate about.
And today we have an awesome special guest with a subject matter I think that's on a lot of people's minds. Obviously, last year there was a huge impact on the events industry, and Mike, who is a great connection of ours, really just turned around his brand. So I'd like to introduce Michael from MKG. Mate, tell us a little bit about MKG and yourself and what you guys have been up to.
So MKG Events is a full-service event management company. So we do everything from helping to concept events, help make them more commercially viable, right through to organising everything, right through marketing the event to getting the right type of attendees, right through to sponsorship, media and PR to running the event day or night. We currently operate Australia-wide and have international clients doing it. So we do both in-person events, online events, and hybrid. So COVID was a challenge for many people.
Mm-hmm. So you just do a couple things in the event space, huh?
There's a few.
Yes, you could say that.
Yeah. Well, look, we're gonna cover off some cool subjects. So I don't want to get too deep into what you guys did through COVID, because I think the first subject we want to talk about is all about that. And what you guys did, and the reason why I really wanted to get you on the show, Mike, was what you guys did through that COVID period was incredible. The way that the agility and the flexibility in your business to kind of go to digital and leverage online. And I think it would be amazing to kind of share that experience with everyone. So the three topics we're going to kind of cover off today, we're going to cover off that live brand experience and how that's kind of changed your business and what that can do for other people's business. I'd love to talk to you a bit more about branding and the importance of live events and what's happening in the live event space, that face-to-face space. And then tell us a bit about these government grants. I think right on the end there's some incredible government grants that are out at the moment. I've had several calls with Mike about this, so it's pretty incredible what's going on, and I think everyone would love to know a bit more about that. So Mike, are you ready? Are you ready to kick it off?
So Mike, just before you start, basically
I'm very ready.
We talk about a subject. We normally talk for 5 minutes, but because we have a guest, we give you an extra 2 minutes. But we're going to be butting in. We're going to be giving comments. We're going to be asking questions. So it's quite fast-paced. So be ready.
Yeah, be ready. Be ready. It's a literal clock, and it will count us down. Okay.
I was born ready.
Yes, perfect answer. Cool. So the first subject we're going to talk about. Tell us a bit more about what happened during COVID and how you were able to move your brand, be agile, and create a whole digital offering that has been, a real game changer for the way you guys go to business. We all ready? Ready for the 7 minutes?
Hit the clock.
Let's do it.
Yep. Ready.
Boom.
So when the government announced the restrictions in March 2020, when the start of the COVID-19 pandemic happened, obviously that was very tough for many people in this space, and in order to survive, obviously required extensive change and rethinking. So within 3 days of the restrictions being announced, we pivoted to online events, had marketing material ready to go, and already signed over most of our clients at the time from those in-person events they did plan to have with us during the COVID lockdown period to online events. And many of the online events went really, really well for our clients. So, for example, one client had 150 people attending their online event, ended up with 700 registrations. Another client saw an 830% return on investment. So they paid us a certain amount of money to promote their webinar for 25 people, and they made about 56 grand off those people that we sourced. So that, I guess, was the catalyst for how our online event services grew to having clients beyond Sydney, which is what it booked for us, and to having clients literally all over the world, in Asia, States, as well as different parts of Australia.
So do you think this is something that will continue?
And I guess,
Sorry, was that mine?
I didn't quite hear what the question was, sorry.
Oh, so what I asked was, do you think this is something that will continue to grow now that live events are potentially starting to come back into play?
I think that online events definitely have a future. Some people may choose to keep online events. What some people may realise is that it's cheaper to do an event online than it is to bring in special guests and guests from overseas. However, what I also think part of the new normal as far as the in-person event space is moving forward is that, you know, there'll be a lot more live style in-person events so that people can choose to attend in person or choose to attend virtually. And that's, I guess, another service offering that we've launched in recent times.
So that's what you call a hybrid event, where it's like live streamed and in live in person.
Correct, yes.
Yeah, cool.
So, Michael, how was the uptake in the sense of the public taking to these virtual events? How was their feeling about it in the beginning? Was it a bit slow, or was it quite a fast uptake?
It was a very fast uptake. So when we announced the events were going virtual, we actually, this obviously was back last March, we actually had the amount of bookings we would normally get in 3 weeks, in 3 hours when we pivoted and told our databases that we pivoted from in-person to online when COVID launched, which goes to show that there's definitely lots and lots of interest when it comes to the content and the material of the events that we had and still have, because we still have very high levels of interest in the new kind of format. So yeah, but what online has also allowed for our clients is to be able to reach people overseas from being still within Australia.
And how big were these events, Michael?
So our biggest online event's been over 700 registrations.
Jesus. Do you think it's going to taper off? Sorry. Yeah. Do you think it's going to taper off, or because people are starting to go back to the office and everything?
Very hard to say. I think that ultimately, when it comes to getting good attendance for an event, it's not just about whether it's online or just about whether it's in person. It's also about the content matter of the event. It's about the credibility of the people presenting the content matter. It's about the credibility of the organisation presenting the event. It's about having the right marketing strategies to attract the type of people you want at the event, irrespective of whether it's online or in person. It's about understanding business and understanding what your market needs and being able to provide it and being able to communicate it in a way that's interesting, authentic, and engaging.
So do you think for a brand that's like trying to establish that credibility, can hosting events also be a way of like building up credibility with people?
I definitely think it can, and many clients have actually used their events to increase their business over the years, to increase sales, to get clients. It's actually a good opportunity as well to build know, like, and trust with people in the audience as well, because it gives you the opportunity to communicate and share your knowledge, get to people, network, and obviously it can be a far more effective way than placing it out in the newspaper or whatever the case may be, which probably no one will read.
Because that's that connection that people get, right? They get to actually see your face, get to know you, even if it's online. They still get to see you and interact with you. I think. Yeah, Grant, were you going to jump in?
Yeah, so basically, Michael, from a face-to-face perspective, do you still feel that that's king, or do you feel that virtual will overtake face-to-face opportunities?
As far as Australia is concerned, I don't think that the in-person events are going to go down, and the reason being we've actually signed 175 plus new events in the last 3 weeks in person. Reason being the government has lots of grants to help people pay for the events they want to hold in 2021. I guess we can go into more detail on that later because I've already.
Yeah. Well, we'll just wrap it up in the last 10 seconds. So online is a very powerful tool, and obviously with people working from home, it gives an opportunity for people to explore new avenues and consume information like they haven't before. And I think the hybrid event sounds like an awesome new opportunity for people to get out there. Oh, fantastic. Was there anything else you wanted to kind of add in there? We don't want to obviously extend our 7 minutes. We'll stick to the timer, but there was obviously a lot of information in there, and I think people can really grasp the power of online events. I love the idea of hybrids. What about you guys?
I think it's a great method to keep that engagement. I think it's another method for people who can't get to the event to still be part of the event. I think that there are other methods that you can create touchpoint interaction with the view to get people on a voter's roll, support role, click on links to take them to certain landing pages while being at the event. So I think that there's multiple uses for virtual. And I think from going forward, I think there will always be real and virtual events will go hand in hand from now on.
Do you, Mike, just a little tidbit on a side note, when you do it hybrid, is there a chance, or how do you stop it from kind of bastardizing your community? You know, like people look at a ticket and it's $50 and they can look at it virtually for 20. Is there a risk that you might lose interaction at the live event if you're hosting a hybrid?
I think it's all about being authentic in the communication and explaining why online is cheaper, in person is more expensive. So say, for example, if in-person tickets were $50 and online was free, that could be explained by the people in person get catering, and that needs to be for example. So I think it's about how you go about the process and to help people understand why there's a difference.
Yeah, or so something like a little
because at the end of the day, online people have to pay for the in-person's people's food. So.
Cool. Well, that was awesome, guys. Are we ready for the next topic?
Right, so the next subject is
all live events. We want to talk about live events, the value it brings to a brand to do a live event, and kind of the comeback. What's the next step for live events? What's going to happen next? How are we going to get there in the live event space? Because it's constantly an evolving space. So what's next? Hit the timer. Ready to go?
Let's go.
Let's do it. Mike, tell us a bit more about live events and what's happening. Oh, yeah, sorry, Grant. Did you want to ask a question?
Kieran.
Ask the question? Go for it, Mike.
Yep, so when it comes to live in-person events, there's a lot happening in that kind of space at the moment. So the wonderful governments around Australia have a lot of grants to help people pay for the events they want to hold in 2021. These grants range from being local grants, state-based grants to federal grants, range from $3,000 to $250,000, depending upon the event you're looking to hold, or depending upon a range of other factors as well. The general eligibility criteria is pretty open. So basically, you have to be a registered business with an ABN and not owe money to the government, and hold an event that's inclusive of all society, people with disabilities, all of that, and something that has the potential to improve business or mental health or improve social inclusion, all that kind of thing. So it's something that's really, really helping to be able to rebuild the event sector, in my opinion, and definitely an opportunity to, if you run a business that relies on events to generate a revenue, definitely something that will help you get back on your feet.
So why is that? Why is the government backing live events? What is it about live events that they see of value, whether it's of value to the community or of value to the businesses themselves? What's driving this initiative, do you think?
Well, before COVID, the event sector represented over $40 billion to the nation's economy each year in GDP, and that was just big events, not including everything else. Over 200,000 jobs before COVID, obviously both of which have been severely decimated because of the restrictions that were imposed during the COVID-19 pandemic. But from a societal point of view as well, like before COVID, just one event that I ran, a charity $40,000 money that allowed us to purchase life-saving medical equipment that's since stabilised over 2,000 would have died in the lost event. Over 4,000 events were cancelled because of COVID, some charities, some business, but if you use that as an example of how much events contribute to society, 400,000 events were cancelled because of COVID. It's definitely a sector that contributes massively to people's lives within Australia and overseas as well, and a sector that needs support because so many of my colleagues, friends have unfortunately lost their businesses, lost their livelihoods, lost, their passion, and I guess it's something that really needs to be built and a sector that contributes a lot, as I was saying before.
So good.
Michael, I want to understand in the sense of, before COVID, brand presence and positioning was very important. Is that still going to be a feature going forward with these events in the sense of making sure that brands are prominent and that they look like they have collaborative and participation within organizations and sectors?
I'm sorry, Grant, I didn't hear your question. It cut out on my end.
I wanted to understand in the sense of brand positioning. Days before COVID, we were able to position brands and tell brands in public spaces and be able to show collaboration. With that now going forward, how do you see the brand positioning being a feature?
I definitely think events help to build brands, and I think moving forward as we continue to ease restrictions, as long as that happens, I think that things will get back to the way that they used to be, or a similar variation of that. And when it comes to, I guess, brand activations, such as what Grant was just talking about, there's definitely a lot of interest within the sector, I can say, of getting that back to the way it used to be as well, based on the people I know. So when it comes to kind of outdoor brand activations, we have typically not really done so many of those types of events, but many of my colleagues have. So we kind of focus more on professional development events, charity dinners, but in saying that, we're very versatile and have every type of event coming up this year, from an event on the Holocaust to a gig. Yeah.
And why do you think that is? What drives that need for that live connection, especially in the charity space? I know that's a very strong way of creating donations or creating investment in that brand. Is there something that you feel from that interaction that helps kind of build that relationship?
Yeah, so there's many charities that we've helped significantly improve donations at events from. So some charities working with us have gone from making 10 a year to making 50 in 2 months. Lines have seen up to 300% increase donation after expenses. And I guess when it comes to events, and just building on what we were already talking about before, there are an opportunity to build connection, there are an opportunity to build know, like, trust and get to know people. And when it comes to getting large-scale donations from the perspective if you run or work in a charity, it's about able to effectively build trust with donors, and events are also an opportunity to showcase the work that the charity's been doing over the previous year or over the past few months as well. And that too is very inspirational, encouraging to kind of help them build on that journey to help change more lives and help make improvements. So, for example, one charity that sells medical equipment, that buys equipment for underprivileged hospitals. That with their annual events, they showcase all the people that they've helped and have people coming in live to present how that equipment saved their life.
Perfect timing. He just ended that little bit of a sentence right on the alarm itself. Wow, Mike, there's so much going on in the live space, and so much that was kind of taken away through COVID, and now you can see a kind of a reinvigoration of that live event space. I definitely think that there is a huge component of the human one-to-one interaction that is just required, especially when you're looking for a high level of investment or high level of attention from somebody. It's hard to capture somebody's attention and maintain it through online. I feel sometimes, people kind of track in and out. You can do other things while you're listening to it. When you're at a live event, it's very much you're very connected with what's happening right there in front of you. And I think that's where there's a huge level of value, especially for the charities.
Look, I think that one of the things that's very clear is that events is not going to go away. I think events are very much hand in hand a part of brand building and integration with clients in the sense of showing off brands and getting that touch point interaction taking place. I think it's a case of how we adapted and how we evolved and how we add value to it is where I think that there's some unique opportunity for events to be relevant and take us future into a digital age.
I think it's a good time to come up with new ideas. You don't with the whole reinvigoration of the industry. It's a good time to just not do another stale event where you line up a couple chairs and throw up a PowerPoint. It's a great opportunity to take it to that next level and really highlight new ideas and new concepts. Yeah. Come out the gate running,
Absolutely. Very much so. And I think that you can quite easily now double up on what you're doing in events in the sense of those people coming live and those people that are streaming. And I think that you can definitely double up to what you could ever do before. And I think that is awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cool. Well, I know we're getting to the topic that Mike really, really wants to talk about. There's some amazing stuff that the government's doing to support the comeback, the reinvigoration of live events in the event space. Obviously, Mike covered off a little bit just before, but we'll get into the next 7 minutes and we'll cover it off in a lot more detail and hopefully help some people get access to these grants and put on some events that are just going to get people coming out of their little hideaway holes at home. Are you ready to go, Mike?
Let's get
Absolutely.
Going. All right, so let me lead in here a little bit for a second. I'm representing the avenue of the businesses, and I think that the biggest issue with grants is that people don't understand what they stand for, how to obtain them, what is available, and what the opportunities are all about. And I think, Michael, maybe you can elaborate a little bit as to how are grants meant to work in society and business with the view to bolster growth and exposure.
So when it comes to all the grants that are on offer by the government generally at the moment, nationwide, there's over 1,500 different grants totaling $40 billion in total grantable funds. Some of these grants are for events. Some of these are to help businesses build and go after how much COVID has negatively impacted business. So there's a very, very wide variety of different types of grants that can be applied for. So I guess in this presentation, I'll keep it to events because that's my area of speciality. So when it comes to the event-based grants, different grants have different criteria. General eligibility criteria, as I was saying before, is you have a business with an ABN, you're not insolvent, the event doesn't endorse or promote smoking, illegal drugs, or gambling. The event's inclusive of all members of society, including people with disabilities and people who are Aboriginal and people who are of international backgrounds. and then that the event falls into one of the four following streams, that it has the potential to improve business and the economy after COVID-19, that it has the potential to improve mental health and well-being, the potential to improve social inclusion and get people back together, or it has the potential to highlight cultural diversity in a positive way. So I think that's really, really awesome criteria. And I think that obviously different grants do have some different variations and additional terms and conditions, but that's just the general stuff that's pretty consistent across all of them. In the case of a grant that's available for $250,000, the additional clauses are that the event has over 100 people and is on for 2 days or longer. So I think that there's a lot of opportunity, but I think what would be a better approach would be if people were to contact my team or I to discuss their individual circumstances, so that relevant grants can be discussed. I've actually needed to hire 7 new people in the last month to cope with all the grant writing that all of our clients want us to do now.
That's incredible. That's phenomenal. The fact that there's this opportunity and there's the fact that you've got capacity just bolsters the opportunity for business to show off their brand and value proposition.
Yep, and that's what we're all about here as well at MKG Events, is about events that help grow people's brand, but also produce return on investment. We have a great sales team. It doesn't just get us great clients, but also to help our clients do at their events. So, for example, Zane, one of our new members on our sales team, previously 30 years in hotel event sales, helped turn around some venues that were negative 500K to extremely profitable within 12 months. One of our other sales team members, she just actually starts on Monday, but $6 million in the previous company. So we have a very, very high team as far as that's concerned, very high caliber marketing team that brings in thousands of people to our clients' events each year. And yeah, that's just some of what we have to offer as well. And yeah.
Well, you know what I really love about the whole thing, especially in that kind of grant space and how you're describing it, is that they haven't made it overly fickled.
Yeah.
They haven't tried to make it tricky or make it too many barriers of entry. They're just making it simple. The idea is to bolster the economy in two ways. Not just the fact that you're hosting events again and bringing more revenue into the event space, but also creating revenue or some kind of business or some kind of transaction through your event to then stimulate that economy, that money, the transaction of cash through business. So I think it's a really great initiative, and I love how the simplicity. I love the transparency of what they've put together.
Correct. Yeah. I love the fact that the opportunity that it gives you.
Sorry, go ahead. Mike.
So what I was also going to say as well, when it comes to brand applications, they do take quite amount of time to put together, considering the amount of detail that's required, but also to details as well. So things, event project plans, things like budgets, things like event evaluation, details of how you've stuck to sponsorship agreements and grant agreements in the past. And that's not necessarily stuff that some people are capable of coming up with. And, that's stuff that we do every day as well, which is why that can be helpful. But also, too, once the grant is secured, if the client wants our services to manage the event, market, then we can actually also provide our credibility and in the last 7 years of sticking to all of the previous grant and sponsorship agreements that we've been able to source for our clients, and that we will obviously run the event properly, which obviously helps to strengthen your application.
I think that grants give a great leverage to market where people don't have capacity or don't have the means. And I just think that if they just think a little bit or contact someone like Michael, and I think a world of opportunity can be opened up for them.
Perfect timing. And I wanted to kind of cap it off as well, just by highlighting a little bit more about MKG. Me and Mike have been doing business and collaborating for quite a number of years now, probably about almost 6 years, I think, maybe 5-6 years. So we've known each other for quite a while, and I've seen his brand come from being very much about him and a small team to now having a much broader team with a much broader level of service. And now inclusively bringing in the grant side to the business. But I think what's incredible about MKG and why we wanted to have him on the show is that Mike has kept on the forefront and been agile with everything he's done in the business, and you can see it through his growth and how extreme and how consistent his growth has been year on year, and how he's able to kind of keep on the forefront and in front of what's going on in the industry to make sure that he is always offering the best it can and offering what it can to help its customers. So, mate, I think you should be really proud of the brand that you've also created behind MKG. And I guess keep doing what you're doing. Customers, the feedback that I hear is customers really love what you guys do. And the advice and the hand-holding and direction that you give is invaluable to them. So, yeah, I was happy to really profile you on today's show, and
Absolutely,
you enjoyed it too. Let's get this guy out of the way. Don't need that timer anymore.
Awesome, thanks so much. And it's been really great to work with you over the past 5 or 6 years as well. And your graphics design ability is really great, and we have many clients be with that over the years as well.
brilliant.
Awesome, mate. Appreciate it. Awesome. Grant, I'll let you wrap the show up. And
well, there you have it, folks. I think that marketing and branding doesn't ever stand still in the sense of what needs to be done. Today we spoke about events and be able to put your brand on the line in the sense of being engagement with your target audience and with people who don't know you, with the view to add value and enhance the value and the service that you bring to your community, your organization, and to your industry. I think one of the key factors about what we do here at Bite Size Branding is to unlock branding and opportunities for growth in order to enhance and build businesses. And therefore, we bring invited guests to come on and share their expertise as to the success of what they've done. So please share the knowledge that we've done today, and please ask us questions. And we would love to have the challenge, the engagement, and the opportunity to be pushed a little bit with the view to unbundle topics with the view to help grow brands and business.
Grant, mate, I've got to tell you something. Did you know you didn't say edutainment once this entire episode?
I didn't.
And events are like the cream of the crop of
You
edutainment.
are so right, Bernard. You are so right. I don't know how. You know what it was? I know what it was. Michael was talking so much content. There was not a gap anywhere to be able to butt in and put the word edutainment. But edutainment is a feature for events.
Yeah, we just got it in right at the end there. Mike, again, thank you so much for joining us. Obviously, as Grant said, we always love having guests as well. So if anyone has any guest suggestions, people that would like us to go toe-to-toe with, would love to have them on the show. Otherwise, everyone, thank you very much. Mike, again, thank you. Grant, as always, thank you very much for joining us. And everyone have a great Friday. And we'll catch you in 2 weeks for another special guest show. So there's some guests coming. Keep an eye out.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Bernard. Thanks, Grant. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Bye-bye.